Hi everyone, how is it going? All good? Yeah, yeah, I hope I'm visible now. Yes, so how is it going? What's up? What's happening? How was your day so far? I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, let me just share the link for today's session in the group so that all of you can join. Yeah, so keep telling me, keep giving me updates. Yes, so how's life so far? What did you do today? How was your day? Was it mundane or rewarding? So, we have already discussed this word mundane in one of the sessions that we have had. Yeah, so how's it? Is everything going? I mean, how is everything going? I wasn't keeping well, but now I think I'm doing pretty fine today. So I took rest for a while and I believe now I'm back to resume from where I left. Anyway, so let's begin the session. Today we'll be covering business idioms. Business idioms are also professional idioms. It's part of professional language that you can use at workplace. And today we will be discussing more idioms. Alright, so let's begin. Alright, I hope the screen is visible. Okay, I believe everything looks fine. So today we will be learning business English or business English vocabulary, you can say. It's all part of professional English that you can use at formal setting. All right, let me check
Part of
once
professional English.
if everything is fine. Hi Rohini, how are you? Alright, so these are some amazing idioms and words that you can use for professional settings. Alright, so without further ado, let's begin. So, number one is pull yourself together. Now, in this session, we will dig deeper into what it actually means. What is the meaning of the idiom? How you can use in different contexts. So, be very patient because this is fun. Alright, so idiomatic expression, we all know that pull yourself together. It is an idiom which means to regain control of one's emotions or behavior, especially in a situation where one is feeling upset, overwhelmed or disorganized. So at times when you're losing your cool, आपको बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है, you're very frustrated, बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, but still you need to calm down and work on things that you really want to do or move on for that matter, right? So ऐसे सिचुएशन में जब हम बहुत पैनिक करते हैं, नर्वस भी रहते हैं, फ्रस्ट्रेटेड भी रहते हैं, ऑल इन ऑल सारी एक्टिविटीज़ हमारे ब्रेन में साइमल्टेनियसली होने लगती है, इन दैट केस इस फ्रेज को हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं, where you can simply say that please pull yourself together and move on. So it is like you are encouraging someone to compose themselves, calm down, and focus on dealing with the situation more effectively. This is a phrase, remember, very good, very positive phrase to encourage someone. How do you do that? You do it by just saying it directly that please pull yourself together, everything will be fine. Please pull yourself together, you need to move on. Please pull yourself together. There are better things to take care of. So this is how you use this phrase. Now let's see examples. So how you can use in stressful situation, how it can be used in stressful situation. So I know things are tough right now, but you need to pull yourself together and focus on finding a solution. So basically you're telling this to a person who's actually very disturbed. Things are very difficult. He's challenging or he's having difficult time, but this phrase will encourage the person to be or to become normal or to gain strength. So you are indirectly or directly encouraging that person to calm them down and to also make them find a solution of something, to compose them, to calm them, or to focus on dealing with a situation more effectively. So you want that person to behave well, more effectively. That's how you use this phrase. Next one, when someone is emotional. So when a person is emotionally weak, so you can say that if a person is emotionally weak, then also you can use this phrase. How will you do it? Hey, it's okay to feel upset, but you can't let it consume you. Take a deep breath and pull yourself together. So it's not take a deep breathe. No, take a deep breath, lambi saas lo, and pull yourself together. Calm down, compose yourself. So this is how you use it. Hey, it's okay to feel upset, but you can't let it consume you. That means you cannot let that negativity consume you. This is how you can use this phrase whenever the person is emotionally weak, just to encourage that person. I hope it is clear. Next one, after a mistake or failure. So we didn't get the outcome we wanted, but we can't dwell on it. So outcome नहीं मिला तो but हम उसी पे रुके नहीं रह सकते हैं. Dwell on it simply means that you cannot pause. You cannot stay on the fact that you did not receive or you did not get the right outcome. You will have to move on. आप उसी के लिए बैठे नहीं रह सकते हो. Let's pull ourselves together and figure out how to move forward. So the person is facing, or let's say your team is facing any sort of failure or did any, maybe made a mistake. So in that case, you can use this phrase just to encourage them again. Alright? Okay, when someone is panicking, so when a person is nervous to an extent that he or she is not able to do a particular thing, then you can use this phrase to encourage someone. For example, stop freaking out. We need to pull ourselves together and think rationally. Rationally means what? Think logically. Rationally means thinking logically about what to do next or how to move forward. That's how you can use this phrase. So we are precisely focusing on different ways of using it. So number one, it can be used when a person is in a stressful situation. Number two, when a person is emotionally weak. Number three, when the person is, or let's say when someone made a mistake or failed in doing something. And the next one is when someone is panicking, right? So this is how you can use it. The next one, encouraging someone to stay composed. So if you want the person to stay calm, in order to pacify someone, you can use this phrase, which is, you've got a big presentation coming up. Just remember, stay calm and pull yourself together before you go on stage. So again, the same reason you just need to, if at all you need to encourage someone, then this is how you can use the phrase, pull yourself together. Okay? Next one. It's quite common actually. It's not a new thing for you. If at all you're familiar with business English vocabulary, this phrase is quite common. But at times people use it in a wrong way. And that freaks me out at times. Okay, so let's see what is the actual meaning of this phrase. So the phrase is to call it a day, which means to stop working or end an activity for the day. So number one usage or number one meaning of this phrase is to stop working or to end an activity for the day. It implies that the day's work or activity have come to a natural conclusion and it's time to rest or move on to something else. So either rest or move on to something else. So when you want to end an activity for a day in order to either rest or move on to something else, then in that case you use this phrase, call it a day or calling it a day. Let's see the usage. So it's commonly used in informal and professional settings. So informal way means casually also you can use it, and also professionally to indicate the end of the work or activities for the day. So I'm assuming that this is common. It can be used in various contexts, including business, academic, recreational, and household activities. The phrase is often used when the speaker or group feels that they have accomplished enough for the day or that further effort would be unproductive. Okay, so you have to be very particular while using it. Other than calling it a day or other than to call it a day, which is widely understood phrase, you can also use its synonyms. And what are they? To wrap up for the day, to finish up, or to wind down, or to simply finish. So the other way of saying to call it a day could be to wrap up a day. Let's wrap up for the day and move forward. It's taking so much time. Let's finish it up, or simply to wind down something, which means to finish something up, right? Now, how you can use it. So the phrase is flexible and can be adapted in different situations. For example, it can refer to ending work at a job, finishing a study session, or concluding a social gathering, or completing household. Now this is very, very important, and this is where we ought to make mistake. So you can use it, number one, for ending work at a job. Number two, finishing a study session. So after this session, I can definitely say that let's call it a day for today and continue tomorrow. That means even for today is not required, because for today or for this day itself means to call it a day. When you're using call it a day, you simply mean that you want to wind up things or wind down things for today. So saying today or now or for this day would be redundant. You can simply say let's call it a day and connect again tomorrow. So ending work at a job, finishing a study session, concluding a social gathering, and completing household chores. Now, what is the meaning of chores? Chores simply means a regular routine activities that you're supposed to do. No rocket science, but regular activities, right? So there are four things or four scenarios for which you can use this phrase to call it a day. Now let's see how. So for work related context, now you have to imagine. Now please, everyone whomsoever is listening this session, imagine you are working on a construction site. Okay, you could be anyone. Let's say you are an engineer, structural engineer, and it's nearing the end of the work day. So you're about to wind down. You have accomplished your goals for the day and it's time to wrap up. So you're almost, or you want to wrap up. So now how will you use this phrase to call it a day? Let's see. So the foreman, or you can say that, all right, everyone, we have finished laying the foundation for the building. Let's call it a day and pick up where we left off tomorrow. Great work today, team. So basically you are using this for work related context, where this structural engineer, which you are, is simply saying that let's call it a day. let's wind up for today. We are done laying the foundation for today. Let's call it a day and pick up where we left off tomorrow. So this is how you can use it for work related context when your work is done for the day. Now for study or academic, how you can use it. So now imagine that you are studying for this important examination all afternoon. Okay, maybe library or home, doesn't matter, maybe your study room. So you have covered a lot of things, but now your brain feels very overloaded, very cluttered because of because of a lot of concepts inside your head. And now it's getting late. So here for this, you can use this phrase. So you can say that I think we have covered enough for today. Let's call it a day and go over the rest of the material tomorrow morning with fresh minds, because I need a break. I need to take a break. So what we are doing here exactly is, in order to say that let's wrap up and continue tomorrow or go over it tomorrow or review tomorrow, we are using this phrase, which is to call it a day. So let's call it a day and continue tomorrow, or let's call it a day and review tomorrow in the morning. So that's how you use it for work related context. Next one. Let's say you have been hiking with friends all day, exploring trails and enjoying the outdoors. You had fun time, very adventurous time. Sorry. But everyone is starting to feel very tired and hungry. So now how you can use it, let's see. It's been an amazing hike, but the sun is setting and we are all pretty exhausted. So let's call it a day and head back to camp. Head back means go back to camp. Go back to where you have started. So let's go back to the camp. We can continue our adventure tomorrow after a good night's sleep. So again, when you want to finish any sort of activity here, hiking activity, then you can use this phrase to call it a day. Next one, household chores context. Now the scenario is that you have been deep cleaning your house. Deep cleaning your house means बहुत ज़्यादा सफाई चल रही है, just like we have during Diwalis. बहुत ज़्यादा सफाई चल रही है from morning or since morning. You're scrubbing floors, dusting shelves and doing laundry. And you have made significant progress, but there's still more to do. There's still left. You're not yet done. So you can say that I've been at it for hours. मैं बहुत time से काम कर रही हूँ and the house is already looking much better. तो house थोड़ा थोड़ा अच्छा दिखना शुरू हो गया है. So let's wrap up for today. Let's call it a day on the cleaning and reward ourselves with a movie night. We can tackle the remaining chores over the weekend. तो अभी के लिए हो गया है, आज के लिए ख़त्म करते हैं. जो भी बचा हुआ है वो हम वीकेंड में कवर कर लेंगे. So if you want to say it in this manner, you can use this phrase to call it a day. Alright, I hope this is clear. If it is not getting clear, or if there is any sort of doubt, then you can drop it in the chat section. Number 1. Number 2, you can rewatch this video, because this will be available on YouTube under live session. So go through it once again, walk through it, go over it. Once that is done, if it is still not clear, if your doubts are still not clear, then you can drop me a DM maybe on Instagram for your doubts. Alright. Next one. To be in the loop. What do you understand by this? To be in the loop. What is the meaning of it? So I think we have done this earlier. Well, let's discuss it again, because the more you revise, the better it becomes inside your head. I mean, it gets fed inside your head, and that's what we want for better retention. So idiom, that means to be included or informed about the important information or developments within a particular group or organization. It suggests being part of a circle of people who are privy to updates, decisions, or discussions. So, if you want to be a part or be involved in a discussion or any update that you're expecting, then you can use this phrase. Now, let's see how. So, for social setting, imagine that a group of friends is planning to surprise a party for another friend. Okay, so group of friends planning to planning a surprise party for another friend. So how you can use it? You can simply say that we need to make sure everyone involved in organizing the party is in the loop to avoid any slip-ups and keep the surprise intact. So we need to make sure कि जो भी ये party organize कर रहा है वो updates उन्हें regular मिलते रहे so that कुछ गलती ना हो and surprise खराब ना हो. So people within the group just want to be updated, included, or you can say involved in the discussions or updates. Family situation. So a family is planning a vacation and they are discussing itinerary. Now, what is the meaning of itinerary? What is the meaning of itinerary? So it is not itinerary. I have seen a lot of you pronouncing it wrong. It is not itinerary, but it's itinerary. Itinerary. Okay, so it's basically the journey or trip that you plan. So what all things you want to include comes under itinerary. The small plan or the checklist that you have for any journey or trip that you make for yourself, that is called as itinerary. So I want everyone to be in loop about our travel plans. That means I want everyone to stay updated about our travel plans so that we can coordinate transportation and accommodations smoothly. Okay, so this is the other way of using the same phrase, which is to be in the loop. अगर आप चाहते हो कि आपको किसी चीज़ की अपडेट मिलती रहे या किसी चीज़ की इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती रहे या लेट्स से किसी चीज़ के बारे में आपको रेगुलर बेसिस पे पता चलता रहे, so you can use this phrase that I want to be in loop, please keep me updated or keep me in the loop. You can say it in this manner as well. Professional setting. Now imagine a colleague shares industry updates and networking opportunities with others in their field. So there's one colleague and वो industry related updates and networking opportunities के बारे में share कर रहा है. So you can say that being in the loop with the latest developments in our industry can give us competitive edge in our careers. Right? So being updated with the latest developments in our industry can give us a competitive edge in our careers. That's how it can be used. Next one, to be on the map. What do you think could be the meaning of this? What is the meaning of to be on the map? To be on the map. What is the meaning of it? So basically it is an idiom which means to gain attention, recognition or prominence in a particular field, industry or area. It implies becoming well known or noteworthy, often as a result of significant achievements, developments or contributions. Right? Let's see ahead. How it can be used. So imagine that a relatively known artist's work receives critical acclaim and becomes widely celebrated within the art community. So there's this person who gets acknowledged, right? So how can you use it in that sense, in that context? Let's see. So her groundbreaking exhibition at the museum put her on the map as one of the most influential contemporary artists of our time. So she has been now celebrated. The artist, of course, she has been acknowledged. So this is how you can use it. All right. Number 2, business context. So there's a small startup company which introduces innovative product that quickly gains popularity and widespread recognition. So you can say that the success of their latest product launch really put the company on the map in the tech industry. So basically what they're trying to say here is that now the company has gained recognition, attention, or you can say prominence in their field. This is what it means. Field, area, or industry. Next one. A previously overlooked town becomes a popular tourist destination after the discovery of its historical significance. So when people came to know about the history of that place, it became very popular among tourists. Therefore, the sentence is the recent archaeological findings have put our town on the map as a must-visit destination for history enthusiasts. So now it has gained recognition, attention, well-deserved attention. Next one. An aspiring musician releases a viral song that garners millions of views, that gets millions of views and propels them to fame. So that single put him on the map as one of the most promising talents in the music industry. So उन्हें जो attention वो deserve करते थे और deserve नहीं भी करते थे, so they got it because of that album that they have recently released or the music that they have recently released. So you can say it in this manner also. Now, very, very beautiful phrase, and I think you all must know this, which is to read between the lines. All right. So it is an idiom, number 1. Number 2, it means to understand or deduce a deeper or hidden meaning from what is explicitly stated. So कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें होती हैं जो बहुत ही इनडायरेक्टली हमें कन्वे की जाती है, बट फॉर सम रीज़न अगर आप उसका मीनिंग और लेट्स से उसका हिडन मीनिंग डिड्यूस करने में केपेबल हो रहे हो, सो यू कैन से दैट आई कैन ऑब्वियसली रीड बिटवीन द लाइन्स. सो जो भी उसकी छुपी हुई इंफॉर्मेशन थी जो कि डायरेक्टली कन्वे नहीं हो रही थी बट इनडायरेक्टली आप उसको डिकोड कर पा रहे हो या अंडरस्टैंड कर पा रहे हो, देयर यू कैन यूज दिस फ्रेज टू रीड बिटवीन द लाइन्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, नाउ इमेजिन दैट देयर आर 2 फ्रेंड्स डिस्कसिंग प्लान्स फॉर द वीकेंड, बट उसमें से एक काफ़ी हेजिटेंट है. वन ऑफ द पर्सन इज hesitant. So you can say that she didn't directly say she was not interested, but I can read between the lines and tell that she is or she was not enthusiastic about the idea. Right? So basically you can say कि the scenario was that there are 2 people discussing their plans for the weekend, but उसमें से एक hesitant थी, वो नहीं बोल पा रही थी, but the other person understood. He deduced what could be in her mind. डिकोड कर लिया सामने वाले ने, उसका जो दिमाग में चल रहा था वो डिकोड कर लिया. So this is how you can use, this is where you can use this line that I can read between the lines or I read between the lines that she was not happy about the plan. Number 2, a politician's speech contains carefully chosen words that imply support for a certain policy without explicitly stating it. Right? So बहुत clearly state नहीं किया गया था, बहुत ही clearly नहीं बताया गया था, but still अगर आपने decode कर लिया, so you can use this phrase. For example, the speech may seem neutral on the surface. मतलब speech कहीं भी biased नहीं थी किसी की तरफ, but if you read between the lines, it's clear where the politician's allegiance lie. So, allegiance means basically जो आपके hidden, let's say जो alliances होते हैं, This is what it means, right? So the speech may seem neutral on the surface, but if you read between the lines, it's clear where the politician's allegiances lie, right? Next one, interpersonal relationships. So the colleagues gives constructive criticism about your work, but their tone suggests underlying frustration. So you can say that her feedback sounded positive, but I could read between the lines and sense her dissatisfaction with my performance. So though they were making, they were actually giving you very good compliments on the same. The feedback was positive, but for some reason there was this sense of dissatisfaction that you can deduce or decode. So here you can use this line to read between the lines. Now, next one. During a negotiation, one party offers vague assurances, but their body language indicates uncertainty. So you can say that he's trying to sound confident, but if you read between the lines, it's clear he's not fully committed to his proposals. Right? So you can say it in this manner as well. Read between the lines simply means to find the hidden meaning of something or to deduce the hidden meaning of something. Now, to see eye to eye. In one of the previous sessions of work-related vocabulary, we discussed this phrase to be on the same page. Now, this idiom is exactly similar to see eye to eye, or we are on the same page. They are quite similar and synonymous to each other. Now, what does it mean? It is an idiomatic expression that means to agree or have the same opinion as someone else. It implies that two or more people share similar perspective, beliefs, or views on a particular matter. For example, in case of agreement in a meeting. During a team meeting, members discuss a proposed project, strategy, and everyone agrees on the approach. So there's this meeting happening where there's one team involved and the members discuss the project, and after that they agree on the approach. So in that case, you can say that it's great that we all see eye to eye on this. It will make implementing the plan much smoother. तो ये बहुत अच्छी बात है कि हम सब सहमत हैं. सहमति, for सहमति, there's this word हिंदी में which is called as सहमत. हम एक दूसरे से सहमत है. So इसे इंग्लिश में बोलते हैं to see eye to eye. This is what it means, right? Okay. Relationship harmony. So there's one couple who are planning for a sort of vacation and they realize that both want to go to the same destination. So in that case, you can say that I'm glad we see eye to eye on where to go for vacation. It will be much easier to plan now. That means हम बहुत हद तक एक दूसरे से agree करते हैं, and I think this will be better. I mean, this is something very interesting because we see eye to eye on where we want to go. So this can be used in this way. I mean, this phrase can be used in this manner. Next one. Parents discuss their disciplinary methods and find that they both believe in setting clear boundaries for their children. So here you can say that it's important that we see eye to eye on how we raise our kids. That means हमारी सहमति होनी चाहिए और हमें कैसे अपने बच्चों को बड़ा करना है. Consistency will help them understand our expectations. So we need to be consistent. Alright. Professional collaboration again. दो कुछ colleagues हैं, they are working together on a project and finally they find out that they share similar ideas about its direction and goals. So how can it be used? So our team is so effective because we see eye to eye on the project's objectives. It makes decision making much simpler. So सिंपल सा कॉन्सेप्ट है कि अगर एक डिस्कशन में बहुत सारे लोग हैं एंड वो एक कॉमन ग्राउंड्स पे आके एक दूसरे के साथ अग्री कर रहे हैं या सहमत हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली इम्प्लीमेंटेशन बिकम्स ईजियर, डिसीजन मेकिंग बिकम्स सिंपलर. सो आई टू आई मीन्स टू अग्री with each other or one another. Now, to play it by ear, very very interesting idiom, and what is the meaning of it? Let's see. So it is an idiomatic expression. I think this is quite clear. Now, what is the meaning of it? So it means to improvise or make decisions as events unfold rather than following a predetermined plan. तो इसे हिंदी में कहते हैं कि फ्लो में, आई जस्ट गो विद द फ्लो. मैं अभी से प्लान नहीं बना रही हूँ, बट आई जस्ट गो विद द फ्लो. सो दिस इज व्हाट इट मीन्स हियर, दैट यू डोंट make things or make plans beforehand. They're not predetermined plans, but you're flexible and adaptable, right? Responding to circumstances in the moment rather than relying on a fixed course of action. For example, friends are discussing weekend activities, but they haven't made any definite plans yet. Okay, so they are discussing this weekend activity, but abhi bhi koi definite plan nahi hai. So how it can be used? Let's see. Let's just play it by ear and see what everyone feels like doing when the weekend comes. तो अभी के लिए जैसा चल रहा है वैसे चलने देते हैं, जब weekend आएगा तब decide करेंगे कि क्या करना है. So let's play it by ear. Workplace. So the scenario is that the scenario is a project's timeline is uncertain due to changing requirements and unforeseen challenges. तो project की जो timeline है वो भी definite नहीं है. So you can say that given the unpredictability of the project, we'll need to play it by ear and adjust our approach as needed. So we cannot decide right now. So जब वो time आएगा तब हम चीज़ें decide करेंगे. This is what you're trying to say out of this. Social gathering. So let's say you are hosting a party, but the guest list isn't finalized and you're not sure about the schedule. So you can say that we'll play it by ear with the party arrangements. We can set up the food and drinks first and adjust our details as guests arrive. तो अभी के लिए we're not deciding on anything because things are very uncertain, but जैसे ही गेस्ट लिस्ट डिसाइड हो जाएगी और बाकी सारी चीज़ें हो जाएंगी, देन वी कैन ऑब्वियसली प्लान थिंग्स अहेड. बट अभी के लिए वी जस्ट प्लेइंग इट बाय ईयर. फॉर ट्रैवल प्लान्स, तो यू आर प्लानिंग अ रोड ट्रिप बट यू हैवंट डिसाइडेड ऑन स्पेसिफिक डेस्टिनेशन. तो अभी आपको नहीं पता है कि क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, नॉट श्योर अबाउट इट. यू आर प्लानिंग अ रोड ट्रिप ऑफ कोर्स, बट डेस्टिनेशन या स्टॉप्स डिसाइड नहीं हुए हैं. So you can say that let's play it by ear with the road trip itinerary. मतलब जो रोड ट्रिप के प्लान्स है कि कहाँ रुकना है, कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है, कहाँ घूमना है, ये डिसाइड नहीं हुआ है. तो we'll be playing it by ear. That means हम जैसे जैसे चीज़ें अनफोल्ड होंगी वैसे वैसे हम चीज़ें करेंगे. We can decide on attractions and accommodations as we go along. तो जैसे जैसे हम जाएंगे, जैसे जैसे दिन पास आएंगे, जैसे जैसे हम वो रोड ट्रिप में चले जाएंगे और चीज़ें अनफोल्ड होंगी, वैसे वैसे हम कहाँ पे विजिट करना है और कहाँ रुकना है ये डिसाइड करेंगे. सो दिस इज़ व्हाट इट मीन्स इन हिंदी. आई होप इट इज़ क्लियर. नेक्स्ट वन, टू कट अ लॉन्ग स्टोरी शॉर्ट. It means to summarize or provide a brief version of something. So let's say that you told a person a long story, but now you want to give a summary of it. So you can simply say that to cut a long story short, what I meant was, and then you can continue with your summary. So it is often used to make communication more efficient by getting to the essence of what needs to be conveyed. So instead of giving long stories, you directly use this phrase and then summary of what you want to convey, just to make or to have an impactful communication. For example, you are recounting a complicated series of events to a friend. So you are telling basically कि ये आज मेरे साथ हुआ, ये आज मेरे साथ हुआ, फिर ऐसा हुआ, फिर ऐसा हुआ, and then you're trying to use this phrase. So let's see how. We missed our flight, had to stay overnight in an unfamiliar city, and our luggage got lost. So this is actually the list of events that happened with you. We missed our flight. Number one, you had to stay in an unfamiliar city. Number two, and then your luggage also got lost. So to cut long story short, it was a nightmare. So to summarize it, you can say, or you're saying that it was a nightmare trip, but we eventually made it home. So ye hua, ye hua, ye hua. So in simple terms, it was a nightmare. To cut long story short, it was a nightmare. And therefore you were happy that you finally made it home. Finally आप घर पहुंच गए. Next one. You're explaining a complex project. You're trying to explain this complex project with many steps involved to a colleague. So you're saying that there were several challenges along the way, but to cut long story short, we managed to deliver the project on time and with it budget. So basically there were several challenges. ये हुआ, ये हुआ, ये हुआ. लेकिन finally end में everything went well and you delivered the project. To describe a personal experience. So let's say that you are telling this to your friend about your health issues or maybe whatever happened with you over the past year. So you're saying that I went through multiple tests, saw different specialists, ye hua, but to cut a long story short, it turned out to be a minor issue. तो मैंने इतनी मेहनत की, but finally it was a very minor issue and now I'm feeling much better. So this is the other way of saying it. So now, when you're telling a joke, so you're sharing a funny story but don't know or don't want to get bogged down in all the details. You don't want to get into the details. So basically you can use this phrase here. Let's see how. So he tried to fix the sink himself, flooded the kitchen and ended up calling a plumber. So ये सारी activities की. And now you're using this phrase to cut a long story short. He learned it's better to leave plumbing to the professionals. तो इतना सब करने के बाद finally वो conclusion में पहुंची कि instead of doing all of this, I should have called for professional help. Alright? To cut corners. What is the meaning of to cut corners? Now, it is an idiomatic phrase which means to do something in the easiest, quickest or cheapest way possible, often by ignoring rules or omitting certain steps, which usually leads to substandard results. Right? So it implies sacrificing quality, safety or completeness to save time. So जल्दी करने के चक्कर में डायरेक्टली हम कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ करना जो आपका टाइम और पैसा बचा रही है is called as cutting corners. Is called cutting corners. Let's see how you can use it. So imagine a contractor uses cheaper materials to build a house to save cost. पैसे बचाने के लिए the contractor, the person is actually building house cheap material use करके. So you can say that the builder cut corners by using low quality material. वो अपने पैसे बचा रहा है कैसे low quality materials use करके, which led to structural problem later on. So later on उसमें कुछ structural खराबी हो गई just to save time. Just to save money. Sorry, my bad. Next scenario. An employee rushes through a report to meet a tight deadline, skipping important details. So, jaldi karne ke chakkar mein, in order to save time, the person is actually skipping all the important details, which is of course wrong and not morally correct. So, how you can use it? He cut corners on the report to finish it quickly, but now we have to redo it because it was missing critical information. right? Next one. A company reduces the quality control steps in its manufacturing process to increase production speed. So you can say that by cutting corners in quality control, the company faced numerous customers' complaints about defective products. What happened exactly? Just to save money, the company actually used cheap quality products, or let's say something which was not up to the standards, and therefore they faced numerous complaints from the customers about the defective product. Cooking recipe. So the cook skips several steps in a recipe to save time. So जिस step के जो steps होने चाहिए थे वैसे उस step से काम नहीं किया गया in order to save time. Here the cook is saving time. So she cut corners by skipping the marinating step, and the dish didn't turn out as flavorful as it should have. सो वाई इज़ इट इम्पॉर्टेंट टू मैरिनेट? ताकि जो डिश हम बना रहे हैं उसमें उस चीज़ का फ्लेवर अच्छे से बैठ जाए. बट इफ़ यू आर नॉट गिविंग इट प्रॉपर टाइम, सो इट विल नॉट कम आउट एज फ्लेवरफुल. So here you're cutting corner. The cook here was cutting corner, or she cut corners by skipping the marinating